Having travelled from Bergen to Trondheim, I was about to sail out and begin the second part of the northern journey, which would get me to Tromso. I had no idea that the voyage would transform from one of speculation, that it might even be too much quiet self-reflection, even for me, into something different under the silver light of the midnight sun as day 4 transitioned into day 5. This video is the second part of the voyage, which Havila names the Northern Norwegian Adventure. So hello everyone, I'm coming to you from Trondheim. I'm currently looking out over the bow of the Havila Pollux. I'll give you a look at what I can see. And I'm on the Havila Pollux because I'm going from Bergen to Kirkenes, and then Kirkenes back to Bergen on the Havila Voyages route. Now you may wonder why I'm in Trondheim. That's because I've already done the first leg of this journey, which was the magical fjords of Norway, which got me from Bergen to Trondheim. Now if you want to see the first leg, the magical fjords of Norway, from Bergen to Trondheim and including Trondheim, obviously the video will be in the description. So as I said, this one is Trondheim to Tromso, and I crossed the Arctic Circle, and it is called the Northern Norwegian Adventure. As you can see, people are still getting on from the excursions. Some people push it to the limit. I say 10 minutes, people are getting on. So I thought I'd give you an example of lunch. So what I had today was I ordered 4 items on the Tapas Plus sort of system for lunch. I'll put that in a picture. That is fish soup, chips, a beef option and the lamb sausage option. And that's 4 items. Then I had a dessert. They recommend 3. Today 4 items was probably, it was okay, but I probably could have done with 3. While yesterday I definitely wanted 5. But the key thing is, get 3 or 2 or whatever, then just keep on ordering if you're still hungry. It is as simple as that. I think it's a great system. I think everyone's a bit thrown by it on the first day, but once you see the sizes, then you know what's going on. It's a fantastic system, right? They rotate the menu to the regions of the trip, and it allows you to sample stuff without feeling like you've wasted your lunch, and you can experience different things. For example, who'd have thought I'd have tried fish soup? Because it's a Tapas Plus sort of system, I could try the fish soup. If I didn't like it, there wasn't really a big loss, and I loved it. So much of these scenic cruises rely on you being able to get outside. I don't care how good the observation houses are and floor-to-ceiling windows. You have to get outside. The issue you have with this Havila experience of constantly hugging the coast and moving through the islands is when there's a sail out of a port, technically complete. Okay, I've officially decided we have sailed away. As I said, it's hard to call it because it's just one continual stream of gloriousness. But I thought I'd give you some sense of what tomorrow is going to look like. So, as indicated at the start of this video, we left Trondheim. Now, once we leave Trondheim, we begin the section of the voyage that this video covers, which is the Northern Norwegian Adventure. Now, there's a few unique things about that. One, there is only one other port today other than leaving Trondheim, and that is Rorvik. I apologise again to the Norwegian folks watching. We arrive in that port at 21:40 and leave at 10 o'clock. And then all of the other ports, unless you count 4:30 in the morning as early as getting up time, there's 2 ports before 6, and then at 0600 we get to Nesna. Now, what's important about Nesna is somewhere between Nesna at 0600 and Ornes at 10 is the Arctic Circle, which is pretty cool. And then towards the end of the day, around Stamsund and Svolvaer, that's somewhere between 7 and 9:20, we enter the Lofoten Islands, which is probably more the focus of day 5. So day 4 tomorrow, what's unique about it is pretty much all scenic cruising, all short stops. So keep you posted. I think what's going to happen next is I might do some reading, but I am going to be up and ready and out just to experience a later night, though to be honest it'll probably still be daylight, arrival in Rorvik. Just going to dinner, but the scenery out the window looked amazing, so I've come outside to have a look. I've had dinner, very nice, but boy this ship is a rocket. Don't get me wrong, not make you ill rocking or crazy, but it's moving from side to side and bobbing up and down. The reason for that is some of the islands you saw just before I went for lunch, this is just after lunch, where us about to branch out into the more open sea, where really we'll only get land on the coastal side until we get closer to the next port. I'm trying to get away from the wind. So we get to the next port in about 2 hours, which is about at 9:40, so it's somewhere between 7:30 and 8 o'clock now. So I'll be back then. That port is in an inlet that's very narrow. It's one of the narrowest I've seen on the map, so I'm interested in what that looks like. In the meantime, I'll continue reading my book, which I'm really enjoying, and dealing with the slightly choppier, more distant from the coast, more open seas until we get closer to that next port. I have no idea how much you're going to be able to tell from the video, and I forgot the mic, so I'm going to have to keep the camera stuff to a minimum, but it's freaking windy. I've even left my cap behind, it's that windy. Anyway, I'm in a sort of sheltered spot at the minute. We are 10 minutes from Rorvik. Again, I apologise to the Norwegians. Okay, I'm wondering whether the best way to do this is not to see it from the front, but to see it in delayed time from the back.
whether you can see it on that little islet, but you occasionally get beacons. And I think those are like guidance beacons for the routes through. Occasionally you see them poking out the water as well. Back on deck 9. I'd go to the bow of the ship, but God, I look crazy without a hat. I'd go to the bow of the ship, but I don't think the little gimbal can handle it. What's funny, if this was a traditional sort of full-size cruise ship, there's no way they'd have that front deck open with the wind. They'd have it chained off for sure. People in the hot tub, they definitely have the right idea. Never know where to look for the best. Well, I think that might be it for the day. I'll see you tomorrow for the Arctic Circle. As you can see this morning, it is wet. I am actually stood under the little bit of cover you get. Well, today is crossing the Arctic Circle and reaching the southern part of the Lofoten Islands, so that's what we'll be managing, and maybe also the weather. That monolith of a mountain or whatever it is pretty impressive. Jurassic Park vibes. The amazing thing is, it may be misty and it may be actively drizzling, but it's not actually cold. That's the crazy thing though. It's not cold for me and my UK sensibilities. I'm sure it is for a lot of other people. This is what gets me about Norway. What is it like to live on that island there? It's not very big, near the Arctic Circle. No roads, only boats. Pretty much middle of nowhere. Well, that's it. I've crossed the Arctic Circle for the second time. Albeit the first time we just tipped over it slightly on the Norwegian Prima as we circled the northern half of Iceland. This time I'm crossing it and going quite a distance beyond it. Okay, I have a feeling you might get sceneried out today. I've got 2 hours till Ornes. I'm going to read my book a bit more. I'll keep you posted with any scenery we capture, and also the sailing to Ornes. Until then, I'm going to relax some more. I mean, that's basically what it is. Scenery, relaxing, some eating. So I've been sitting in the observation deck reading for the past hour. It's about, give me a second, close lunch, 9:15. And we're coming up to a thinner bit, and I was looking out the window and I thought, oh, the scenery's got better. Break from, well, I say better, more amazing. So here we go, some more scenery shots. We're coming up to a thin, I tell you, coming up to a thin bit, and this is getting, I don't know. I know I said this before. Is this getting more Jurassic Park, or is it just me? See that bit there? I'm going to go through in there. That's crazy. Damn it! We're coming up to what looks like a glorious narrow bit, and it started really raining. To get out of the wind, it's gone a bit crazy again. But the answer to the thin bit we were going to go through, which I was quite excited about in Ornes is sort of like in a bay, which is back there. We've come back out, and then you visit Ornes, and you come back out. Ornes so far has to be one of the most beautiful places I've seen. Until probably later today or tomorrow.
Stefan has come forward. Stefan, sits here. Ja. You are the winner. And you were only 38 seconds away. Das ist unser Gewinner und der Preis. Das ist the flag that was up on the mast when we crossed the Arctic Circle. It is finished, yes. Congratulations!
Welcome to Bodo. Am I going to get off in Bodo? Don't think I'm going to. You got 2 hours, 15 into town, 15 minutes back. I think I'm going to wait for Tromso, which is another 4 hours-ish slot. I've had dinner and it's 7:30. But tonight has taken an interesting turn of events. So we're approaching the southern side of the Lofoten Islands. We're going to hit Stamsund and Svolvaer. Those are the next 2 ports we're going to hit, so I'll get those sailings. But strangely, that's not the interesting bit. This evening we're going through Trollfjord, which is supposedly very spectacular, and also a thin inlet. I'll put the name on the screen, so I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, which apparently we're going through at like midnight. So yeah, and obviously I'll record it and everything, but that, I mean, I didn't even know that. Well, I knew about Trollfjord, I just didn't know when it was, but this thin inlet, that's new. Well, that's Stamsund out the way. Pretty impressive. I'm looking forward to this section. The Lofoten Islands was always the section. I think we get to do it slightly different on the way back as well. So in a couple of hours we'll be at Svolvaer, and then the crazy fjords and inlets begins. I just don't know what to expect. I just expect to be amazed. To be entirely honest, I'm quite tired and it's quite chilly. But I'm going to persevere. watching it from the bow is just, I don't know, it's a bit too uncomfortable. I want to see what it's like at the rear. Well, this minor endurance event is proven to be worth it. We are going into the Trollfjord, 2 kilometres deep, 1,000-metre high walls, 80 metres wide at its narrowest point. I don't think it gets much wider than that for most of it. I'm hoping it's pretty damn crazy. I think the entrance, because we're spinning, is there. You gotta be kidding me. That's crazy. Yeah, we're doing a crazy spin. Christ, if we hadn't started turning, I wouldn't even have noticed that. Wow. Say this is close, they're not frickin' kidding. That is very close. Wow. So this morning, I only really got up with the target of lunch. I must admit that the lunch menu in leg 2, nothing wrong with it, but I prefer the lunch menu in leg 1. So I'm interested in what happens when leg 3, phase 3 begins, when we pull out of Tromso. So we're heading into Tromso at the minute, film the sailing, then I guess we'll have a wander around Tromso again. It'll be my usual aimless, see what I see self. We've got 4 hours, got no excursion, not got anything really planned. Let's get off and see the place. And I promise you, when I got up and when I was eating lunch, there was blue skies. By the time I finished lunch and came outside, in the space that probably was 30 minutes, they'd gone. Minutes out from Tromso. Strangely, the sky's getting bluer, but for some weird reason, getting slightly chillier. We have sunlight, it's a miracle. Don't know how long it'll last. So as you can see, Tromso is a bit more of a robust tourist type entrance. That's the first time that's happened in all the ports I've seen or got off on the journey north. So yeah, it was interesting that it had like a tourist office on the way out. Now, just to wonder, see what I see. Also seems to be a number of tourist places directly next to the port. Usual strategy, wander around until you see beautiful things. Okay, Tromso's officially gorgeous. I'm going to have to investigate what it's like to use it as a base and do things from here as an option in the future, but it is officially very nice. So this just isn't any caramel frappe, it's the caramel frappe from the northernmost McDonald's in the world. I'm going to go to that Back's Tube place on the way back, it looks interesting. First I just want to locate a supermarket so I can get some supplies for the ship. I think we've got a bit off the tourist track to find this supermarket. I may have overdone it. I don't think so though, because I ran out quite quickly last time, so they'll just last longer if it's too much. You want to occupy your kids for a moment off ship? Not that there's many kids on this ship, of course. Okay, so as tourist shops go, and you know what they're like, but as tourist shops go, I have to say that the Northern Lights store, best one in the world. Okay, so I think at this next crossroads I've walked the full length. In fact, the full length and then a bit, because I went off this more main street to get to the spa. That seems a quaint little triangle just over there. Back up the main street. I have to say, it is both modern and quaint at the same time. Very nice. Very, very nice. Come off the main drag because I found an interesting look at the bay. So I thought, let's get to the waterfront, see what we see. A nice marina type area. I must admit, I can't help wondering what this would look like in the snow. Now my LCD screen is quite small, but I think about there is the cable car you can do, but not today. In a way it's a bit of a pity, because if I had took the risk of doing a Tromso excursion, it'd have had that on it and the skies would have been clear. But I didn't book it because I thought it was quite a lot of money and I might get to the cable car and it might be cloudy. But anyway, I have enjoyed my wander around. Oh boy. So I'm going from cool to warm to scorchy. Oh, it is quite hot now. The other great thing about Tromso, and I don't know whether it's its distance north or some sort of economic ruling from above, there is chains, but you don't feel like the main drag is just one chain store after another. It is loads of little places that are obviously, I assume, uniquely owned, which is pretty cool. Okay, back at the polar bear, and there she blows down that street. So have you ever wondered how they keep those windows perfectly clean all the time? They got spray guns above them, look. They either hit them with some liquid that gets rid of the salt and stuff. Very clever. So I guess we have to come to the point now where we realise that this is the end of leg phase 2 of the journey from Bergen to Kirkenes. Yeah, so we've been on phase 2 since we left Trondheim and now we're in Tromso. It is called the Northern Norwegian Adventure and this is what this video has been about. The next section is the northern tip of Europe and takes us from Tromso to finally the final destination heading northward of Kirkenes. So hopefully, I'll see you there.